In this episode, I'll be going over whether or not I believe this is the bullish calm before the storm or the bearish calm before the storm. In other words, everybody's been asking, is this the end? Is this the crash? We've seen the lows and we're going to the moon from here, or do we have a further crash incoming? I'll answer that question very simply for you on this stream to begin with, because I believe when these kind of sentiments happen, these lulls in the market happen in the middle of a bull run especially, it's important to go back to the basics and keep it simple. You don't always have to have complicated indicators to give you an idea of where we're at. Also, I'll be going over some interesting stats, why September is such a pivotal month, and what to expect this month as we head into the highly anticipated elections in November, and things are heating up. Which way we'll be going, we'll explore all that and more. And also, I want to open this session with one stat that is pretty wild. It is 95% of the gains in the crypto market are made between 40 and 45 days throughout the year. So just imagine, if you're out of Bitcoin, it's much riskier to be out of Bitcoin than to be in Bitcoin, because you just never know when it's going to start to uptick, and usually the markets surprise you. So that is a clue as to where my sentiment lies for this video. Also, just know that the average lows in September come around September 15th. So we'll be having a look at those statistics to see just how long we have to hang in there to see whether or not Bitcoin will be breaking even more bearish from here or will be turning the corner. My name is Megan Nilsson, aka Crypto Megan, your host for today. And you know what? I have been missing each and every one of you. Have been missing my daily live streams. I just came on not too long ago and I said that I've been gone for about 4 months, working very hard and very closely with a team that I am so excited about. I believe it's a revolution in DeFi, and I can't wait for you guys to see more. Actually, there is an altcoin daily video with them up now. I'll go over that in the stream. And I believe it is a huge opportunity, and it's time to position ourselves as we're waiting for the rest of the market cycle to happen. There's so many things we can be doing now and learning from previous cycles to be able to position ourselves better. At least that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to give you my playbook now, and I'm excited to jump on into it. So I'm here in sunny southern Marbella, Spain. It's fantastic. It's absolutely beautiful. Taking a breather from a 45-day nonstop tour around the US, which was absolutely, it was so fun. It was amazing. We went to so many amazing events. We did really cool podcasts. Anthony Scaramucci, TJ Miller, the famous actor and comedian from Deadpool and Ready Player One. I mean, season 2 is huge, and I'm now on Draper TV as well. So we're growing together, and I couldn't be happier than to be here with you right now to tell you about it. So without further ado, let's dive right into this episode and dissect exactly where we are, where we could be headed, where the end of this market cycle could be, and when the ideal time to sell is, and finally, what you should do right now. Let's go. Okay, so jumping right into it, one of the the simplest analytical tool, yet, one of the most powerful over the years, has been the fear and greed index. If you're looking to keep things simple, pick up bags of cash off the floor instead of pennies, the fear and greed index is a really good indicator as to where we are in the market. Now, last week we peaked into extreme fear. Right now we're in fear, and it's really simple in any financial market. You buy when others are fearful, and you sell when they're greedy. So, not to be taken at like, now we're in fear, it's time to buy. But there are several indicators that can be paired together to say, hey, now is generally a good time to either continue buying, continue dollar cost averaging, or start to get into the market if you haven't already. And remember, none of this is financial advice. It is just what I am doing. And when I see that we're in fear and extreme fear in the middle of a bull run, I'm looking at it as an outsized potential for returns, an asymmetrical bet. So let's have a look over the year, just what we've done. So as you can see here, human psychology tells a story. So we plummeted, we were on the ascent leading up to the Bitcoin ETF launch, and then we plummeted right after, just like gold. And from there, we had an astronomical ascent to what would be around our peak. I mean, this emotion follows the price pretty well. And from there, it has been pretty much down and to the right the entire rest of the year, a 6-month correction period for what feels like forever, and everybody is giving up on the market right when it's all about to happen. It's like, it's been so many years leading up to this. Everyone who's held through 2022, 2023, when we turned the corner, I remember that in January of 2023 is when this bull run officially started. all of that time that we've been holding on and people are selling now, not a chance that I'm selling right now. I'm telling you what I'm doing. And this fear and greed index tells a story. So if you look at the max all-time high, you can see that we're building really great market structure here on top of, our previous base. So we've come down here to test this area now in what I believe to be the middle of the bull run. So there's the answer to the question in the video. Do I believe that we are still in a bull run? Absolutely. Do I believe we've seen the top? Most definitely not. In my opinion, I believe we're going a lot higher than this, but not necessarily just in Bitcoin. Also, the altcoins haven't seen their day in the sun, and I'll go over that and the total 3 market cap chart as well in a minute. But just know that these times are not the times to be selling. I mean, what I said in the beginning, that 95% of the gains are made up of 40 to 45 days out of the year, it's better just to go long, sit and wait, set it and forget it, than to try to get cute with it, to sell it if you think it's going lower. For those of you who believe in this technology, who believe in the future, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You just got to make this much, much simpler, much less emotion, sit back, relax, and pick up those bags of cash off the ground instead of the pennies. I mean, that was one of the most interesting things I've heard, and it's worked well for me. We've got to keep this simpler when it comes to investing, and especially if you're not a trader. If you're not a trader, you don't want to get burned. For me, I'm generally dollar cost averaging during this time into projects that I believe in, heavily into Bitcoin and Ethereum, of course, and, just kind of letting it ride out, being patient. And here's the second metric when you're keeping it simple. I mean, we just zoom out and look at these long-term models and analysis, and we kind of just have we zoom out and we get a bigger picture of where we are. And all he says are 2 words, like clockwork. Here we are now, heating up in the red after the blue, which is like a consolidation zone. And we're about to go into the most parabolic phase according to this chart. So we've got a lot of room to run, and it's just we're winding up. We're winding up the calm before the storm, bull or bear. Markets move in cycles, bull and bear, greed and fear, like low and high tide. This human behavior will never change. Right now we're in between greed and fear, but we just had fear bear, so greed bull is next. Not financial advice, just my read of this Bitcoin RSI chart. Do your own research. Okay, so he's saying that we're about to go into the most parabolic phase of the bull. I also agree it could take 1 month, could take 2 weeks, it could take 3 months. But the point is that if you're not positioned, you're going to miss out on the next most parabolic phase of this market, in my opinion. So that is just what I am doing, keeping it simple, guys. We're in fear. We're taking up on the market sentiment. Maybe we'll have one more shakeout, but will you be shaken out? That's the question. So as for the Bitcoin price, a lot of people were concerned because we didn't have an exactly bullish weekly close, and we closed outside this range of support. And now we're currently looking like we're breaking back up into it. But until we're above 58,000, I mean, really it is just not the impetus for a greater bounce in the broader market. So for me, I'm kind of just watching and waiting, because September is a very important month. In fact, most Septembers are usually bloody. They're usually pretty bearish. And I'm just waiting for the end of the month. The average low in September is set on September 15th. So the low for this this month already was set around, I believe is around here, 52,900. And have we seen the low for September? I'm not sure. I don't know. But what I do know is this: on the much higher time frames, there are 2 massive factors battling it out. There's the momentum, and there's also the, if you watch Steve from Crypto Crew University, he breaks this down really well. And I love the higher time frames, because that's what I'm mainly concerned with here, is my investing for the long term for these macro cycles, and when I should take profit within a bull run, and where might the end be. And I think that's how you all should be thinking. You should be setting your strategy now and taking the time to figure out how to best position yourself. So Bitcoin right now, September 15th, around there, we could be seeing the low, if the low is not already in. I'm just being patient, and I'm waiting, and I'm not going all in. I'm continuing to dollar cost average, but if I see that we have another crash, I will double down on that. And I believe that after that happens, we will take off to the races, because we've got elections coming in November, and the current administration does not want to be looked down upon and in a weak position. So chances are the Fed is going to cut the rates. Sorry. So basically the hypothesis is don't bet against the Fed. The Fed will turn up. The inflation seems to be coming down. We get inflation rates. The CPI data comes out September 11th, and the FOMC meeting in which the Fed will announce whether or not they'll be cutting rates is happening on September 18th. So there's a lot coming up in this month. And in my opinion, we could have a bit of a fake out rally, maybe one last leg down, one kind of scary crash to shake everybody out, and then we continue onward and upward from there. How long that takes, I don't know. It could take a month, it could take 2 months, 3 months, or it could happen this month in September. But if the Fed starts to lower the rates like they've actually come out and said that they would, they've announced that they're going to do this. Some even speculate as high as 50 basis points at the end of this month if inflation has in fact gone down. And, that's when the economy starts to be stimulated again and the money printer turns on. So historically, that's been phenomenally bullish for the risk-on markets, and crypto is not immune to that, as you saw what happened in COVID times. So these are the important dates coming up that we need to keep in mind. September 10th, U.S. presidential debate. September 11th, CPI data release, and September 18th, the FOMC meeting. So stay tuned for all of that because it most definitely will have the power to move the markets. Now, let's go back to altcoins for a minute. And then to finish out this episode, I'm going to explain exactly where I think the market cycle could top for next year and how we can play that to succeed, because that's what we should be doing right now, setting our strategies. I'm personally trying to get in as much dry powder as I possibly can to continue to invest in these markets during these conditions when there's fear, when people are uncertain, and when the sentiment is bearish, because these are the times that the people who have conviction in their investments will win. These are the times when you make the money, the buying that's done in these periods when it's gut-wrenching, when it's scary, when others are unsure, because you have conviction and you're in it for the long game. So for me, it keeps things simple that way. So crypto total 3 market cap, the 3-day. I mean, as you can see, we've done this huge rounded bottom formation, and we've come down in a bull flag pennant formation, and we're currently at support. What better time than to be averaging into your favorite projects that you think are going to disrupt this cycle? That is most certainly what I am doing. There are a few that I'm ultra mega bullish about and excited about. I'm going to take you back to Cardano. So I always reference this chart because it kind of keeps me in check, right? So this is when the last halving happened last year in May 2020. Cardano did not have that breakout candle. It basically went to the right and consolidated for 1 year after my investment. So I bought in February 2020. I did another buy, but for about 8 months after the halving, Cardano just did nothing. And that was kind of like the entire altcoin market. So 8 months from now takes us into next April. So that being said, we are currently on track. We are following the same sort of cyclical markets, in my opinion. It's just that we had a higher sentiment before the halving than other halvings because of the Bitcoin ETF, but we are still following those historical liquidity cycles. And everything that goes up in such a heated fashion must come down. And if it doesn't, it's not sustainable. So it's normal that we're having this extended period of correction. I mean, it was due and it was imminent. We went way too heated, way too fast. And now we need to build a healthy market structure. The question becomes, can Bitcoin overcome all of the bearish signals that are happening right now in the charts? And that will only be told with time and whether or not we can get that momentum to pick back up. So the rule of thumb here is just to be patient and let it play out, and let's see how it plays out and have a plan. What will you do in the worst case scenario? In my opinion, one of the worst case scenarios for Bitcoin is around the $43,000 level. If we have a massive crash for whatever reason, there's a lot of market structure around $45,000. And what would you do if that happened? Would you sell it all? Would you panic? Or would you buy more? Or would you simply just wait? You need to know. You need to have your strategy set. I know what I do. I would double down at that point, and that's what I'll continue to do. So Zebu, as I told you guys in the intro, I've been working very closely with this team, and it's amazing what they're doing in DeFi. They are a telecom. They're settling mass telecom settlements on chain with the Zebu token and their Zebu protocol. And it's absolutely amazing what they're doing they're revolutionizing DeFi. They're about to launch their nodes soon, and they're doing a $250 million airdrop series. So there's a link in the description below if you want to take part in that. I'll be running my own node. I hope that all of you, my community, will stake to my node. It's going to be an incredible yield. And basically their premise is that they take a 2% fee off of all of those transaction processes. So it's a real world business bringing in fresh liquidity from real volume and sharing those transaction fees with the nodes to decentralize the system. It's absolutely brilliant. There's 13 different governance councils. I'll be a governance member, and it's designed so that we can make this as seamless and as well functioning as possible among all the industry's most brilliant minds. So as you can see, Zebu has been up and to the right during this entire time of consolidation when most alts have been hit very, very hard. It's a very strong token. And, when we talk about passive income in crypto, a lot of the times, most of the time, I haven't seen any kind of use case that's not like this. It's kind of like dependent on, it's a bit of a smoke and mirror situation. It's dependent on, is there demand for the token at that time? What's being built on the chain? It's pretty much hype driven and narrative driven for right now until the protocols become more mature, until we get more volume in real world use cases and new liquidity in, right? So, Zebu is actually taking that business model and sharing the fees, which I find to be absolutely revolutionary. I'll do a whole episode on this so I can break it down and help you guys understand a little bit further. But I do believe that if we come down out of this rising wedge, we could hit around $4 to $4.10, which would be a phenomenal entry. And then you'll be able to stake for up to 45% APY, which is very cool. And you'll get paid out in stable coins every 15 days once the nodes go live. So I'm looking very much forward to that. And that is part of me positioning myself for the years to come. And I think this is a very amazing play. So let's have a look at Doge, everybody's favorite OG altcoin, right? So I actually just did a YouTube with the Dogecoin Slumdog Millionaire, who has a docuseries out now on his whole journey and how he became a millionaire investing in Doge. So go check that one out. But so Dogecoin, as you can see, the same as the total 3-day. We've got this huge rounded bottom. Don't forget, rounded bottoms pay the bills. One of my top mentors told me that in trading, and it's most definitely true. So we've got this huge rounded bottom, and now we've got another bull pennant. We're at support. It's pretty clear that now is generally a good area to be dollar cost averaging, in my opinion, not financial advice. So when you see, most people come in around this hype phase, or maybe here thinking, it's going to go one more parabolic run after the last one. Let that not be you. How about you start coming up with your strategy now? Now, as far as sentiment and when will be the next market cycle top, we have here the best time to buy Bitcoin is 6 months before the halving, and the best time to sell Bitcoin is 18 months after the halving, so October 2025, according to Plan B. That would put us at the top around October 2025. Other charts, as you'll see here, show September, some as early as April, but have your strategy set so that you can scale out during those times when historically in the charts show that we could be having that market cycle top. And here he says during this time is a good time to find the low cap gems. So, all up to your risk appetite, but make sure you have the foundational pillars set as well in your portfolio. Here we're now about 5 months after the Bitcoin halving. Usually the outsized returns are 12 to 18 months after the halving. Stay patient, hodl. So that's what I'm doing. I'm staying patient. I'm hodling 12 to 18 months. So 12 months would put us out in April of next year for a potential Bitcoin top. And 18 months after that would be around October. So a lot of the metrics are lining up. And here we have Bitcoin halving strategy. While no strategy can predict the exact top and bottom, following this simple halving strategy could potentially help you achieve your outsized returns. Buy Bitcoin 500 days before the halving, hold and do nothing. It's very, very difficult to do, but this is, like I said, 45 days out of the year, those gains come. If you're not in the market will leave you behind. Sell 500 days after halving, repeat. This strategy has proven effective in the past. As of today, 500 days from now falls on September 2nd, 2025. So more confluence. Here is a chart that shows when will we break all-time high, and this is according to time-based Fibonacci's. So this chart shows that we should break all-time high, a new all-time high in December, which could line up with this market starting to turn around at the end of September and slowly working their way up toward the end of the year. So actually, I'll have Anthony Scaramucci on my podcast airing on Thursday, or around Thursday, I believe, this week on Draper TV and on my YouTube channel here. And you'll get to hear from him what he believes the price will be by the end of the year and at the Bitcoin cycle top, and why. And he's a very well-versed traditional financial analyst. So it's very interesting to see his opinion on everything. And I'm going to leave you on this note. Has bearish sentiment peaked? Are we at a local bottom or on the brink of another plunge? While the future is uncertain, it's clear that coming generations are inclined to invest in Bitcoin over bonds. Bitcoin isn't just a glimmer of hope for future generations. It's a beacon. I got the chills. I absolutely love this space. It's so good to be back. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you stayed here this long, you're a real OG, and I'm really happy to be on this journey with you. So as always, I'm super optimistic, and let's see what September holds. If you can survive, you will thrive. That's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow.